Hi, I'm going to talk to you guys about marriage, both heterosexual and homosexual. And then I'll start off with heterosexual relationships. A marriage, obviously, to give you a brief um, definition of it, you can't really define it, but it's the relationship between two people that join their lives, which affirms them each as individuals and as a legal pair. But sadly, a large percent of those couples, the demands of marriage can be too difficult for them. Some will look towards divorce or extramarital affairs, so your affairs outside of their marriage itself, which sadly usually don't end well. But not all are like this, thankfully. Some can generate happiness, productivity, and admiration. Each marriage provides an opportunity for the partners to share lifetime experiences, so it can really be a really good thing. Men nowadays, surprisingly, are waiting till 28.2 years, I guess, for a median age, and women are waiting till around 26 years of age. And this is due in part to them wanting to establish their own lives before they get involved with somebody else, before they um, start to include others in their relationship, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's always good to have your life going for you before you get married. Um, so, yeah. Um, and just some stats on marriage: 74% of people 18 and up are either married, widowed, or divorced. So that's kind of high. But for all of you single people, at least a quarter of you, at least a quarter of adults have never married before. So it's not bad. Um, and I'm gonna talk to you about gay and lesbian partnerships. Um, Gay and lesbians are forming partnerships that mimic those of their heterosexual counterparts. So are mimicking those of heterosexual relationships. They live in houses together. They pay bills together. They do all the same things that any other couple would. It just depends on the state. They may not be officially married because that state doesn't allow it. Doesn't recognize a gay couple as the same as a heterosexual couple. Um, Many characteristics of gay and lesbian relationships are the same, along with some of the problems as heterosexual relationships. A relationship is a relationship. You're going to have issues. It doesn't matter. They're not aliens. They don't function completely different than other people do. It's same a guy and a guy, or it's a girl and a girl. It's the same thing. Um, they struggle with interpersonal issues related to their relationships and lifestyles. Um, and some interesting things about the children that you wouldn't really think about, but it's kind of obvious once you read over it. Children have similar experiences regardless of the sexual orientation of their parents. They can obviously a guy and a girl. They can't have kids. So those children either come from adoption, a previous heterosexual marriage if they were married before they got involved with someone of the same sex, or artificial insemination for the ladies. Um, Children raised in gay or lesbian families grow up in, regardless, they grow up in a heterosexual oriented um, environment. So just because their parents were gay doesn't mean they'll grow up gay. Just because the parents were straight doesn't mean that the kids will grow up straight. So it just, yeah, I don't need to. And they adjust the same. They have the same mental abilities. They're healthy. Social skills are fine, and same peer acceptance at their schools or something like that. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about same-sex marriage. They differ from those in their abilities to obtain legal marriage. Obviously, not all 50 states allow for gay marriage. They don't recognize it as the same thing as a heterosexual relationship. And just some stats on marriage. As of 2011, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Iowa, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, and the District of Columbia have issued marriage licenses to same-sex couples. So it is legal in those states. They recognize it as the same thing as a heterosexual relationship or marriage. In 2000, the Vermont legislature passed the nation's first civil union law, which granted legal status to gay and lesbian couples. The benefits the state provided are allowed for heterosexual married couples. So it's pretty much the same for heterosexual and homosexuals. Relationships, they receive the same benefits. California, Oregon, Nevada, and Washington have elected to provide nearly all level spousal rights to unmarried couples in domestic partnerships. Hawaii, Maine, Wisconsin, and the District of Columbia have provided limited state-level spousal rights to unmarried couples in domestic partnerships. And then those states that it's legal or they provide spousal rights or things of that nature, states generally do not recognize domestic partnerships or civil unions from other states. So it doesn't carry over from state to state. In 1996, the Defense of Marriage Act prohibited federal recognition of same-sex marriages and to enact their own laws to prohibit recognition of same-sex marriages. And at the same time, 39 states have laws that define marriage as between a man and a woman, and 30 states have state constitutions that define marriage as between a man and a woman. As of February 2011, Obama instructed the Department of Justice to stop enforcing the DOMA, or the Defense of Marriage Act, because of the administration's belief that part of the federal law is unconstitutional. So they believe that DOMA was unconstitutional. Just what it stated, that they could refuse to acknowledge the fact that a man and a woman and a woman couldn't be married. In the 15 years since DOMA, the Supreme Court ruled that laws criminalizing homosexual conduct are unconstitutional. They repealed the military's Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, and several lower courts' rulings that DOMA is unconstitutional. And that's some stuff about marriages.